Hi friends, I shall today be speaking with Ebru Debbag, Executive Director of Soorty, and Mansoor Bilal, Vice President of Marketing and Research and Innovation. And they will be joining me to speak about a new perspective that Soorty is embracing for a more holistic approach to circularity. Ebru believes that the future of denim is here, and Mansoor is working very hard to bring a scale of production in alignment. Hi Ebru and Mansoor, how are you?
Hi, Sandeep.
Hi, Sandeep. We're good. How are you?
Thank you.
So nice to meet you again and talk to you. Of course, Ebru had been speaking a couple of times, but Mansoor, I think first time I'm speaking to you.
Yeah,
So welcome.
thank you, Sandeep. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So Soorty has been doing a lot of things, keep on hearing and seeing those things. And there's a lot of talk about the Denim Universe. So what is that and what does it refer to and why have you come up with this concept and how are you using that?
Okay, I'll try to elaborate a little bit on this.
Yeah, sure.
So, it's our actually defining and measuring value. So the Denim Universe is all about how we really define our work. It's kind of like our framework, and then how we really measure the work that we do. And we call it our framework of circularity. And the framework operates with a perspective of extended manufacturing responsibility. So I want to kind of explain a little bit what that means. It's kind of like coming new into our industry, and it's where a manufacturer or a brand really takes the full ownership and accountability of the products they produce. So we set the Denim Universe with that perspective, and we take the responsibility of all the products that we produce, even after the post-consumer stage. And this drives, actually, this was coming from an approach that Kate Raworth, she's an economist, she has developed what's called the donut economics. So it's a new perspective of looking at business and infrastructure. So the whole idea of the Denim Universe is coming from that perspective. And of course, the whole challenge we have as industry, as humanity, is to meet the needs of all of us within the means of the planet. So that's kind of like what, again, the universe is defining. It's defining the planetary constrictions as well as the social challenges. And we're looking at more of the circular business and defining our relations to all our stakeholders, not just with our customers or not just with our suppliers, but extending the definition of whom we are working with. And that brings a different perspective to how we do business, because then we switch to more of a systems thinking, which drives to be more resilient. So we want to become more resilient in this industry. And we're looking at products, not just as products, but extended services, and defining our relations through those extended services to our customers. Of course, the Denim Universe includes the materials, the processes, the process development, the accountability through track and trace, and the commitment to our stakeholders. And we're looking at further ways to really engage with the whole framework. So within the framework, we also have the future possibilities, our on and offline platform, which is our engagement platform, our accountability track and trace platform, where we present our progress in terms of circularity. So we want to invite everybody to this universe to become a part of this Denim Universe.
Okay. So when you're saying you're taking full ownership and let's say full commitment to all the stakeholders who are associated with your company, can you give me some example? I mean, how is it, let's say, different from what it was being done before?
Okay, the whole industry, our stakeholders, for instance, our consumers, the students studying in the universities, in textile universities, design universities, are a part of our universe. So we extend to work and to collaborate with them to really bring further change into our work. because it's not a one-time thing. It's a process. It's a learning process, and we have to learn and change all together. So even during the lockdown period, we have an office in Amsterdam, and our Amsterdam office hosted, I believe, over 10 interns, even at this difficult period, to engage them with, again, the circular model that we are working on. So it's not just saying, okay, we're only producing jeans or we're only producing denim, but how can we really go beyond this and look further and really like bring impact into our business? And again, for instance, during the lockdown period, when we had more time digitally, so we sat down and we brought this idea of the sustainability dictionary. And it's not just related to, again, our industry, it's the whole perspective of sustainability, because terminology is also very important. For people to speak the same language, you have to have the words that relate to this concept. So we really worked on very deep dived into an understanding of sustainability, and we have the dictionary online on Future Possibilities right now.
Okay, that's wonderful. So a lot of action being taken during these COVID times. Okay, and what does circular? What do you really understand by circular denim? You know, because there's so many definitions, and people have different understanding for that. What does it mean to you, and how are you realizing this at Soorty?
You want to take this first, Mansoor, and then I can pitch in?
Sure. So, Sandeep, well, during all this period, what we have realized is to first to realize the customer that how much you can do this in a circular way, and what are the initiatives being taken through that. Before even there, we were in actually in a part of in a way of doing this circular economy through cradle to cradle. This is one thing which we have started, and the whole idea was there was some program which we were doing, which were coming through this ideology of being sustainable and through the circularity. So we made it in a way that just not only the fabric part, we try to close the loop of complete circularity through cradle to cradle, and we made our first step, we made our fabric into the cradle to cradle accreditation, cradle to cradle gold, and then same process we have taken through the garment process. So now at the moment, I'm not saying that we are the only one, but I think we are the most first ones at the moment, and who are taken this initiative to being cradle to cradle gold. But yes, on the garment side, I think we are having this edge because it's something not really easy, that because it goes through the 3 layers of supply chain. And if you look at the garmenting process, which is truly labor intensive, and there is a lot of nitty gritties involved. It's just not as machine oriented only as the fabrication. So we have done this. Apparently, just this is one part of circularity angle which we are actually catering through the garment manufacturing and fabric. But apart from that, we are very much involved into the yarn reprocessing. I mean, when I said yarn reprocessing, is the complete recycle structure of the yarn, where we have made the complete I would say the flow of recycling. It's just not like that we are picking and collecting, yep, or maybe buying from some places and just putting and inserting into the spinning and making the yarns. No, I think the way we realize it, and the way we are actually communicating to our customer, that it's more like a responsibility than just a fashion or just a statement that we are recycle or we are looking the whole processing through the circular angle. So what we had done is that like at the time we started the shredding, we create the whole team where through that we are picking the used garments. I mean, we are buying from Europe also, and there are other sources, and we are bringing it to our facility. We are selecting them ourselves and then cutting them on our tables inside our facility, and then shredding them in our presence, because we know that what type of fabrics and garments we are buying and collecting, and from which places it's coming, and then we are making the yarn in house. So this is one part also. And so that later goes into spinning and coming through our different programs, because there is a lot of circular programs which we are doing at the moment. So this is two major things. I think Ebru can add on few other things here.
Yeah. Yes. So again, like it coming back to the whole philosophy of circularity and how we approach that, because circularity defines there's no waste in the system. So all the waste becomes actually the product of another system, and that's how we operate. It's kind of new to our industry, and we have a long way to still evolve. But we're looking at all the possibilities in transforming our business into circularity. And that's also a necessity, because every day nowadays we hear more countries and more, like the EU New Green Deal, that's on the table and it's in discussion, and it's going to disrupt how we do our business. So we have to, it's not just we have to, but it's like it's going to be the future of business. Circularity is going to be yes, the future of business. So we have to look into so many different layers of how we do business, and it's going to be a totally different kind of operating system in the end. And of course, shifting the supply chain to a value chain requires also a lot of time, and there are many different ends to it. So again, smart materials, the use of smart materials. So we're looking across the globe right now to see who we can work with to make our materials more smart, more circular, because that's where we begin. And then the design process. So how can we design products that have a positive impact rather than a negative impact? Even how we can design products with the end of life cycle in mind. The great example was C2C that Mansoor is giving, but even if we have to really design products with poly content, let's say, because of how we have been designing, let's say, our lycras, we're trying to identify those products in the right way to be able to use more of a biodegradable poly solutions, trying to build constructions as such that they don't become difficult to disintegrate in the end, at the end of life cycle. And again, trying to build more durable products instead of, products that become an item to throw away, with the end life cycle in mind. So how do we do that? That's kind of like what we're doing. So again, materials, design, processes, process development, that's the one thing that we're trying to map out both in our denim production as well as in our laundries. And it requires engineering. And we've been saying that at Soorty, we're all engineers at heart. And now we're bringing more design work and engineering work together, because they have to really complement each other and build further, again, collaborations with our supply chain, both at the end of the customer as well as at the supplier end, to define this whole circularity in a more profound way. And again, definitely we have a long way to go. We've invested a lot in our processes. We are now using smart indigo as a part of our indigo dyeing process, using more of electrochemical applications to reduce the indigo. Yes, more technologies. So it's, again, you have to have the technology, you have to have the smart materials like Tencel, Model, Refibra, Reprieve, investing a lot in Chiclo right now, another kind of poly, which could be biodegraded further easily. So many different elements, like in laundry, you have to have all this great setup, again, very precisely defined.
Yeah.
No, that's wonderful.
I just want to add one thing, Sandeep, here. Actually, what Ebru has mentioned, this is what we are. Actually, this is how we are depicting ourselves. I think the foremost thing is the commitment of the whole company and I would say the team, because adaptability of being circular is the main thing. That's what myself internally, whenever we discuss, this is the most important thing, I think, because if the bunch of people within the organization is trying to being sustainable and the rest of the part is going somewhere else, one one thing, very interesting happened in the past here, and somebody came to the booth and asked, said, so how much is the total article you bring this time? I said, it's about 80. I said, how much are sustainable? And I said, yeah, half of it perhaps. Then later we thought that why half of it actually? If it is sustainable, it should be the commitment across the board. And that from where we start thinking about it, that if we are talking about the sustainability of being circular, or whatever the initiatives are, needs to be on the company platform where all the stakeholder, like Ebru has mentioned, that the stakeholder were definitely a part of it. So all the stakeholders should think in the same way, and the approach should become same. So that's how we can increase the deliverance, and that's what perhaps we're experiencing at the moment. Because there is a couple of investment, there are a couple of projects going on, and I'm very positive that in your next talks we will be sharing some definitely worth considering initiatives, which will, I would say, change perhaps the idea of how the recycle could make, right? So it's going to be something very, very interesting in a time to come.
That's wonderful. So I see what I understand, Mansoor, that Soorty is not looking at circularity in a very narrow sense. You create a circular collection. C2C collection, small collections. Which probably was happening or is happening, still happening in some places. That you create some small collections, and that's for specific buyers, and you offer them, and they are requiring it. But it's comprehensive, totally a total view where you are trying to become add more circularity to your product, to your materials, processes, and everything, irrespective of whether the buyer is specifically asking for it or not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and you're right. And Sandeep, in all the, let's say if you go a little deep into that, while we were going through the process of cradle to cradle, we learned a lot, to be honest, because it was not one of the other certification or evaluation, because it was going 3-tier accreditation. And perhaps if I'm sharing the supplier with all the reports and everything, even though they wanted to know the supplier and end supplier. So 3-tier of transparency was bringing a lot of efforts to the program actually. And that's what makes us more stronger to the idea that, okay, if we are doing such a thing, we should, focus and bring ourselves to the point that we should justify the accreditation what we are going towards with. So that's what makes us more, I think, transparent with the whole idea.
Okay, so please tell me about the recent developments that you have achieved in the production of denim and jeans in relation to sustainability. You already spoken about some things, some technological processes and other things. So, but still, I mean, it would be good to know any new investments or any new processes that you added.
Shall I start, Ebru, here?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
See, as we spoke about, Sandeep, the thing is that sustainability has become a commitment now. Yeah, the way we have been designing ourselves, we want to really, position ourselves as a sustainable company, but with a lot of take home to our customer. We just want to say that for the reason of, as 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 it's happening. But so starting from putting a platinum certified plant where we have invested a lot of, I mean, so it was a huge investment, and during the days when we initiated and bring into the existence was very difficult task. Having said that, like, putting up just a platinum building, it was just not a challenge, but the main challenge was putting that building into the demographics of our country, right? It was completely challenging thing, and we were not really sure, I mean, before when we were putting the plant, initiating the idea, that how difficult it would be. And trust me, when we started and we were in the middle of the whole project, we got to know that how difficult it is to bring up a platinum project, because it's a huge compliances, from the material, from after digging the land, how you need to keep the soil safe and all of that. It was a lot of compliances. I mean, from small things which we normally, avoid into the normal life. Like, who would ever have thought that you need to, ensure the grouting of the floor, that it needs to be sustainable, there shouldn't be any particle coming out, you know so this kind of, yeah, there this kind of things we experience. But yes, as I said in previous discussion, that this all makes us more persistent to the idea that yeah, the sustainability really matters, and if we are really trying to think to be sustainable, then we need to really practice it in the right way. So after putting up the platinum plant, and as I explained you already about the cradle to cradle, so we are now trying to create a complete loop of green manufacturing. Right, we have the fabric and the product coming through the idea of cradle to cradle. Then we have a platinum rated certified plant. So this is how we are offering to the customers that, for example, there are a couple of initiatives, because we do, we do organic cottons, we do recycle material, we do all other sustainable content like tensors, like modal, like viscose. We do a lot. I mean, recently doing a lot of renew cell actually, which is coming and taking
Yeah,
existence.
it's getting so popular. Yeah.
So that we are all these initiative, just not that that's the new plant only, but because we see that, and even customers are realizing that the investment is really paying off to them also, because the kind of environment we have provided to the people who are working there, the kind of handling we are doing in garment processing, like all aspects of garment, because all that building floors are completely air conditioned with the ventilation system is automized ventilation system and all of that. So the worker who've been sitting on the floors experiencing very, they are very relaxed and experiencing very good environment inside the building, and which increases the output and the product quality as well. And then it has got all which is really an important part of our business, which is a denim laundry. Although it used to be a very dirty thing in the past, and you and everybody who's really into the industry wrote about it a lot and spoke about it a lot. So that is something we really change in a way that the whole laundry is actually working on a very lowest liquor ratio. Credit goes to the hardware what we have installed. It was an investment, but thought that we are very much committed to the business, and it's a mainstream thing for us. So we really invested in there. So all this, we have all Chanel low liquor ratio machines, and then the dryers with all the sustainable technology, and we have the complete, the whole product is going through the conveyor belt where no human intervention involved. So that increases the efficiency, and all these machines, because this is creating a biggest impact for us to reduce the carbon footprinting as well, because the emission is very less. And within the same building we are using the whole roof. If you see, I've shared the video before with you, I believe. I can re-push it to you if you like. The whole building roof is covered with solar panel. So we have all complete, it's renewable energy, which is actually the requirement of C2C programs also. This part is from the one of the investment. And I've explained you about the sustainable programs and all of that. There are new investments coming. I think, but it'll be too early to discuss about them. But yes, we are moving on, and trying to be more versatile and more flexible to the needs of our customer. And as Ebru said, like, we are engineered by heart and in Soorty, so we try to be position ourselves that we are globally operated and centrally situated. So this is how we are thinking ourselves. So see,
Oh, that's wonderful.
sitting, yeah. So that's how the commitment, and we are keep on moving through that. If
Okay.
you would like to add something here.
No, you covered it all, Mansoor. Quite exclusive.
Okay, let me then ask Ebru about the latest collection. What are the recent collection which you have come out with, and what are the highlights on those? Just share some points on
Yes,
that.
thank you. We switched to actually a seasonless mentality. I mean, with the 150 billion garments that our industry is producing right now, we all know that 30% is never sold. And out of the sold ones, 84% end up in landfill or incineration. So we're looking at that and we're saying we should work seasonless. And we're also, I mean, the pandemic has, again, changing the structure of the industry. We're seeing a lot of e-commerce coming in action. and we're going to be seeing that increasing in the coming years. So we were thinking how to really cater to that need. First of all, come up with a seasonless idea that can really complement e-commerce, be inclusive, be genderless, you know, and then we came up with an idea that we're calling resync. And resync is a huge part of our collection. It's definitely seasonless. And the way we constructed the garment, as well as the fabric, gives us the opportunity of minimizing waste. Especially, it's B2B and B2C friendly, and especially really catered to the needs of e-commerce. So the e-commerce business suffers from the returned garments. And in our research actually showed that 40% of the clothing on e-commerce is returned to incorrect fit and size. So how can we really kind of cut that back on especially jeans? And we have now a super fabric that can grow 100% with 100% stretch, and it has an excellent recovery of 92%, and it's cotton T400 and lycra based. And we have been wear testing it with, first of all, internally, and with some denim heads across the globe, and getting really very positive feedback. And of course, we wanted this to become a real solution. And we teamed up with Circular from Holland. And Circular is a tech software company that works specifically on e-commerce returns, and through data collection, caters to the needs of the specific brand with specific sizing and fit solutions. So this was a really very good complement to Circular's solution. And now we're offering this product, Resync. It's a concept because there are a couple of different weight, fabrics with different weights within that collection. And we're offering this as a solution to our customers in combination with the work that Circular is doing as well. And we will, of course, be showing this during our product presentation. So, and we can send you a pair to try, Sandeep. You know, everyone who wears it won't take it off.
It's for females only, or also for females?
No, it's genderless. We're saying it's one size fits all. I mean, of course, that's at length, but the product is okay for 2 sizes up and down. So the wear tests have really proved that. And we're working on further constructions, garment constructions, to really enhance the fabric base further. Again, for those brands who are interested, we will definitely put them in contact with Circular as well. That's kind of like the solution part specifically for e-commerce. And we're very excited about this product, actually. I wore it, I loved it. I did not take it off for like 10 hours non-stop. It felt amazing. So
this is a wonderful.
We'll send you a pair.
Please do send, because even during this lockdown, all of us are putting weight, so the sizes are going up and down.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea for the weight to go up and down. So your wardrobe, we're offering a wardrobe that can respond to that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And this is a new product. This is just launched, or is it
yes,
already?
It's just launched
actually.
Okay, I want to congratulate you on that, because this is something amazing, and this will make a lot of impact for you, as you said, for e-com sales, because fit is such a big issue out there.
Certainly.
That's really good. And what about any new practices you have come? We already spoken about some of them, but any new practices which you have come out during this lockdown period, specifically which affects sustainability in your company?
Yes, and it was something really challenging for us, Sandeep, because the way things started, I was in US in January, myself and Ebru, both were in US in January. We were talking about a lot of things, keep on roaming and keep on meeting people to do, such a variety of things. And we both feel, like shelved and postponed when we landed back, because because everything got stuck and there was no idea that what to do, where we start, and how it's gonna be overcome. And perhaps same goes with the customers. So so the idea started from like we thought, see, we can't meet customers cannot come to us, but how we can serve each other, that's something really important. So I still remember we were all working smartly through our homes, and that was, I think, perhaps the second week of March or third week of March, April, right?
Yeah.
So, and then we decided to create a digital platform, and the whole idea of digital platform to reach flawless, seamless to our customer doorsteps, and they can just come to our platform and select the new things, and they could communicate their comments and their like dislikes to us, and we can, we shouldn't we want to have this communication flawless, and that the process of making and sending and showing and getting feedback, because we all are coming from the product background, and there is no, there is no denim if you're not getting the feedback. That's what our business is, right? Because
Absolutely.
you cannot do make two other things on in our case. So we decided anyway. So we decided with a bunch of people of with a great team, I would say, but it was not a huge team. It was heads and very, handful of people, let's say, I would say. So we started that, and in 2 months time we were able to execute it and launch it, and we have got a tremendous response. And you are also more than welcome, please have a look whenever you get a chance. I mean,
Sure.
it works really well. I mean, for us it's working really well, and the whole idea to being digital in a way that it reduces it becomes sustainable. I mean, there was a sustainable angle behind it, because you back and forth, you are sending samples, which is creating carbon emissions and all of that, and you are consuming the fabrics and you're washing them, all of that, the whole process is there. So we were reducing that. There was just one side being shot and available on the platform, and if somebody like it precisely, they can come, they can pick, and they can select, and they can write the comments also. And it was so, we made it so micro in a way that they can write all the details. For example, if somebody wants to say, yeah, Sandeep, I'm using this fit of mine, and send me this garment and that other wash which I was taking, perhaps, like, if the regular customers there, and it directly goes to the relevant merchants, and they can simply take it up and goes back to them in like maximum a week time. So in that way, it was really sustainable, and was reducing the time, reducing the effort. There was no counter sets being made. There was no back and forth packaging. So that's how it is. So within the continuity of that, and we thought like, okay, this is one thing that, but let's say if we are not able to send, because the packaging, the whole transit time has been increased phenomenally. The package and the transit time used to have, before COVID, if it was used to be like 3-4 days, now it's 10-12 days even now, because there is less flights available, and they have increased the rates and everything. So that everybody was experiencing, even the customer were experiencing the same thing. So we inducted 3D cloak technology in our sample group, and we trained our teams. The first step, give them that skill that how to use cloak. They are all coming from that GGT background, and since our DNA is garment making, we have started the business with the garment making. So we are enriched of this knowledge of making pattern and washes and fit. This is our forte, I would say. So these known for that. That our fits are really goes into first time and all of that. So we again choose very selected people and then put them into that glow team. And after training of, let's say, 1 or 2 months, we launched the glow alongside with our digital platform. So now today what we are doing is that all the collections are made, not all the collection, I would say this is our target to make it, let's say, even, let's say, 50 to 70% in 2021. Right now, about 20-25% collections what we are used to make before, we have already shifted them to the glow. So in the new business order, again with the sustainable angle, it's been made through the glow technology, and we are sending it to the customer as a digital collection, and we are only producing those garments who've been selected, and sending, instead of sending 3 times, for once as a product proto sample, then once for the fit sample, and then the sales sample, whatnot, whatever. There's a huge cycle of the sampling. So we reduce it to, let's say, 1 or 2. So this is how we are growing ourselves. And as Ebru mentioned, we have a couple of locations where we are doing different operations. Like Amsterdam for us is all this collaboration with the school and universities, and we are ensuring and enriching ourselves through the designs through Amsterdam. We are taking a lot of design support inspiration, and same goes when we have another operation in Turkey. We called it Nasda. It's our uh, very thoughtfully designed lab, I would say, where we are doing all our developments of washing and fabrication. So that part, it's an upcoming thing again. So that part is going to be very soon digital. So our customer would get again seamless service, and it's going to be a complete loop of digital service. And whatever they've been making through the technical part of the 3D, it's going to be washed digitally at NASDA, and the full design, style pack digital collection will be available at the customer doorsteps. And we will be only producing physically whichever been selected by customer, nothing which is not required, or so it will, in a holistic approach, it will save, of course, will reduce the investment to the sampling. First of all, definitely it's one thing very sustainably, uh, very sustainable in a way that how difficult it is to generate the business and the finances these days. And then of course it will reduce the time tremendously, because instead of 4 submission you are just doing 1 or 2 precisely. And then it reduce the packaging, the number of sample sets we have been sending through the airliner or through the different couriers.
Yeah, it's absolutely, this is, I would say, I would like to congratulate you, your entire team. Yeah, this is a wonderful initiative and very, I mean, not only it is hugely sustainable, it saves time, it saves costs, of course,
Of course,
and
yeah.
improves the speed of business,
Yeah, and yeah, certainly there are a couple of things, as Ebru mentioned. We have initiated a project, and we are working with Circular, which can further add services and value-added services into the whole digital format. So that's how we are progressing into that. This is how we are packing ourselves with the sustainable approach. It's just not, as I said in the beginning of the discussion, that first of all we realize that we need to be sustainable, and circularity goes and comes throughout the supply chain. So either it's sample making, garment making, washing the garments, making business commitment, it needs to be all sustainable. So this is how we are designing ourselves. And each initiative which we are taking, either it's for product or our expansion, or let's say our human resource, because this, what we realize, this is the biggest asset. The people who work for the company is the biggest asset. So we are all in all this multiple ways, we are trying to be very much sustainable and really pushing ourselves for that.
That's wonderful. And that brings to our last question. So how do you see the future of sustainability in the denim jean industry?
Will you go first, Ebru, please?
Yes, I will go first. So I think we're transforming, again, the language is important. So sustainability, I think, has been exploited within not just our industry, but across many industries as well. And I am afraid if we start using the word circularity without really going deep down into the meaning and understanding the dynamics of circularity, the same will happen to circularity. So customers really got tired, the consumers got tired of the word sustainability at one point, and they did not really want to go into the details of it. Yeah. I mean, we still operate within a system where 40% of the labels that define a product are wrong. So imagine that, 40%, and imagine the difficulty that has on the whole recycling process, because you have to sort everything. So if the labels are wrong, there's really a limited kind of way you can sort things out. So looking at circularity, we have to really, first of all, understand the whole dynamics, what it means, the whole regeneration idea behind circularity. And then each and every company, of course, will need to have their own definition, their own roadmap, because everyone is located in a different landscape and operates with a different human source. So I'm looking into the future of the denim in terms of sustainability with a more regenerative perspective. And the regeneration actually defines circularity, because then you have to think about not only how you start making the products, but what happens to the end of life cycle and everything that operates within that framework. Again, going back to, I would say, our Denim Universe. And I would again like to say we're at the start of it. It's a process and we don't have time. So we have to work really hard and fast. Everything is linked to the climate and what we're doing to the climate. And again, the reverse side is what the climate is doing to our businesses as well. So everything is coming together, and it's the holistic approach, and it's the only way out, you know, if we want to have a healthy and prosperous and abundant future.
Absolutely. And so you would like to add something?
Yeah, just a little bit. We have covered quite nicely. Just want to add, for me, because we are looking at it through a different angle and different mindsets also most of the time. So I think this is something which is actually, sustainability, that is a kind of acceptance, and consumer is the consumer is who dictates it. After COVID, I think things have been really changed. The perception of looking at things, picking up things has been really, really changing. And if we are also experiencing our daily life to life, that we are going towards more cleaner and more, organic and all these things, because there is a question behind everything. Should I take it? Should I not take it? So the time to come, like as Ebru said, regenerative things, definitely yes, because there is a lot of bland content and blending into the contents coming, and people are trying to find a way with more and more sustainable material use is coming. So I think that, so the only thing what I realize is that is the time who dictates, and the consumer who is now the new, if you talk about the Gen Z and all, these are very, very aware. I mean, these kids are very aware, and they are the ones who are actually really, really the market leader in terms of the retail business, because they are the ones who wants to look good, who wants to go out for the parties, who wants to shop around. So this will come, and this will definitely come as an acceptance. Sustainability was in talks, was into the machines, perhaps was into the paper also, was not more than that. It was not into that much of practice, but I think now it will more into the practice because of the acceptance, and that acceptance we all can see this is coming. That's what I want to say.
And it's coming, and I believe that the future is in this direction only, and those who are not moving in this direction probably are going to be out of business.
Yeah, certainly true, very true.
So I want to congratulate entire Soorty team for
Thank you.
doing, for working on great projects, doing great job specifically in this direction of sustainability and innovative processes. And I really hope that you keep on moving and showing the light to many others. Thank you so much for joining, Mansoor, Ebru. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you for having us, Sandeep.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.